Well, good morning and welcome to the comments video for the 10th of February 2025. And let's take a look at the weather. It got cool overnight. I just looked up and it was 41 degrees outside. That's 43 now. That was a few minutes ago, but it is 8:25 a.m. So you know it's quite a bit colder earlier in the morning for sure. Let's adjust that camera. All right. And let's see, let's take a look at the wind. So I got to flip through. As early as tomorrow, we've got 16 mile per hour wind at 5 o'clock, so you need to be aware of that. Next day to be aware of is maybe Thursday. We got 13 mile an hour winds throughout most of the afternoon. Continuing overnight into Friday morning, where it really cooks up in the afternoon at 17 miles per hour. And then it looks like we're back down to sub 10 mile an hour winds all the way through the 18th of February. The outlook for temperature is today the high will be 75. I guess a little cool front comes in and we're down to 67. On Tuesday, and I'm going to announce the highs starting tomorrow in every consecutive day. So tomorrow, 67, 61, 67, 69, 71, 74, 78, 75, 75, 79, 79, 79, 80, and 80. So when we look at the 10 days, we have a steady rise of high temperatures. We've got very few totally cloudless days. In fact, this week, Wednesday and Thursday are showing to be totally cloudy, no sun. Many other days are partly cloudy. So that is the weather. All right, let's start with the comments. And the positive news video, number 331, finding dog friends, number 331, positive news. Great video as always. That is from RV Life. And Captain Zuzu, hi there. I have a question that nobody talks about. It's the homeless asking for money. Is that there in Quartzsite? Of course. Yeah, there are a few, but it's not. You don't really notice it much unless you're really looking for it. So it's very few people. Slim Pickens says, hello, Rob. My wife took her vacation from February 17th to the first week in March. She didn't tell me until a few days ago. I had to come up with a plan. My plan is to visit Arizona, boondocking on the way. She never camped in the desert. Have a great day. Oh, good. Dee Cornell, good morning. Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. Well, good morning. Right back at you. Naj says, hey, Rob, I'd like the idea of a video on surgery as a nomad. I think the whole process of the surgery and arrangement of your pet care and your post-operative care would be interesting. Big hugs to Dottie and George. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Naj says on the finding dog friends, that's a touching story. In his letter, you can feel the loneliness and see how he misses his wife and his fur babies. I am sure not only did he make new doggy friends, but he made human friends as well. James said, hi from West Central Mississauga. We have a few friends that have bought homes in Tucson in southern Texas and spend the winter months down there. Excellent. Ken Gray said on the dog video, a sad tale with people who don't like renter pets and a happy ending for this fortunate man. George Pyle says, I retire in May, watching you and a few others out there as my wife and I plan for the 25-26 season. Chris Lant, happy birthday, pal. Glad you had a nice day. I'm looking forward to all your future videos. Well, thanks, Chris. And Barb is commenting on the Saturday at Silly L's Pizza. Barb, who was there, said fun and good food. An amazing frugal RV home base option, and this was on the Escapees Club up in Pahrump. I did it about 6 months ago. Hi, Rob. That was a really great video. I'm getting up there in age, and this seems like a great option. Do you use the Escapee mail function? Actually, no, I don't. Please share where you're domiciled. I'm domiciled in Pahrump. I'm selling my home and going full-time. I'm thinking about Texas or Tennessee. Larry Jackson, on responding to the long form video that I put out late, which was things to consider before joining this lifestyle. Larry Jackson says the Black Tank Tango, there's a big adjustment. Okay. My nomadic dream, Herbie, the other YouTuber, camped very near me, says, haha, the similarities. We both resorted to a talking video, but they're usually the most helpful videos for new nomads. I agree. Pat D, I camped on a Quartzsite for around 10 days in my camper van, kind of over the high winds and dust. Being there for the first hour, the inside of my van was covered in dust. When I got home, it took me around 3 days to clean out the inside of my van. Might be my last January in Quartzsite too. I bought the Starlink Mini and tested it at Quartzsite, and it worked fantastic. I bought it through Walmart for $5.99 plus tax, but free shipping. The $165 a month unlimited is kind of high. I think it should be around $120. Maybe they will lower the price in the future. That is a very good idea, having your GPS coordinates handy in case you need to call 911. I never would have thought of that. Thank you for your terrific tip. Well, Pat, I can reduce your Starlink down to 120 today. All you have to do is you need to change to the residential plan. And as you move, you have to go into the software and change to your new address. Why don't I do that? Well, one is I don't want to run into an address that they've suddenly designated an area that's full and you can't change the address. I don't think there are any like that now, but there are. I see lots of people using the residential. They charge $120 a month, and you just change your address as you move. And that works even better if you move infrequently like I do. What's that? A $40 a month difference? It's kind of tempting. Now that I'm saying it, I may do it. James P, good evening from West Central Minnesota. Thanks for all the info you put out. It's definitely something to think about when planning things out. Well, thanks, James. Nancy Lowe says T-Mobile will be using Starlink with phone plans. I said, yeah, more money. Starlink is expensive. The customer service person said, no, it's not supposed to be. They're trying to work it so it would be a minimum cost. No specifications. I'll believe it when we see it. We will see. I don't know much about that. I've heard about the deal with T-Mobile. I don't know what the particulars are. And Bill Wright says, thank you, Rob. That was the best Quartzsite Visitor Bureau video I've ever seen. JB says, I'm becoming a nomad in 1 year. Well, good for you. That's exciting. I have everything I'm taking with me in my guest bedroom. I like living like I am living in my future trailer. I'm so excited. I am a nomad at heart. I currently live in a stick and brick home because I care for my elderly dad. Living in this home has more repairs on a larger scale. Bring on the uncertainty! Exclamation point. So he's enthusiastic. That's great. Robert Ballard says, thank you for this video. It kind of restores your faith in people in this situation, and happiness was given the attention he needed. That was Finding Dog Friends, positive news video. And the Saturday at Silly Al's, Robert Ballard said, wow, Rob, what a treat going to Silly Al's for pizza. I've looked so good, and having such a meal with great friends is the best. You made a great point regarding overall value. Since you don't eat there, makes a really good takeout for a few more days. We can see the big difference now in the number of campers in the area now. The Big Ten event is always interesting, but calmness and open space can be priceless. Agreed. Blue Sky Van. Hey, Rob, I've been a nomad for 8 years now, and I very much agree with your list of potential appearance. I only have had my pup since August, and she's a great companion, but definitely had an effect on my spontaneity. Thank you for your great info and videos. Ken Gray says, nice info, lots of good information. Thank you, Ken. And Robert Ballard, again, thanks for your overall take on nomad life or just planning a long-term travel and extended stays. It comes down to the quality and level of freedom you feel you need in this life. I can see it takes a high ability to keep things in perspective and not sweat the small stuff. From watching you, I've also learned that being able to use the resources and folks to help make nomad living easier. The ability to draw from and learn from others could be the key to staying a successful nomad. Then again, maybe it wasn't for Dottie and George. You might have given up after the first week of camping. Stay well and keep bringing us along in your travels with Dottie and George. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Ed Godby had to go all the way to Havasu to get material to put a deck on a little trailer flatbed, add a day. Well, yeah, he's pointing out he had to go get something, and he's remote. It's like an hour from Quartzsite, an hour and 20 minutes or so to Lake Havasu one way. So he had to make a day of it to get something he needed. Affectionate Aardvark says, "Oh, do be careful, Rob. The owner of a certain internet company is not someone to be messed with. Repent while there's still time." That Affectionate Aardvark, I'm going to give the opportunity to either remove that comment or reword it, because it sounds pretty threatening to me. Are you sure you know what the word repent means? You're accusing me of some wrongdoing that's going to catch the wrath of Elon Musk. Just please, you've commented here before very nicely, so I don't want to block this, and I'll give a couple of days so maybe you can rethink what you said here. It's not, it doesn't feel okay to me. And look up the word repent and see what that means, and see if that's what you really mean, because I have not severely done anything wrong. I talked about, I'm a Starlink customer, and I talked about the pluses and minuses of it, and I did say it's expensive. It certainly is expensive. And I mentioned that I was grandfathered into a lower price, and they ended the grandfathering. I don't deserve to suggest that I'm going to be harmed some way for something I said on my channel. That's not okay. Robin Goff. "Hey Rob, the sunset in this video was so gorgeous. I'm so glad you were able to see it as well." Tim Spacek. "Hey Rob, check out the Hollywood RV park in LA. I stayed there in my Class C a couple years ago and really enjoyed it. Let's see. Maybe you could stay there and meet up with your family." I'll check that out. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to mention that. And that would probably be pretty close to, if it's in Hollywood, it's probably pretty close to where my two nephews live. Raymond Parsons says, "I'm glad you brought up the different subjects we should consider before heading on the road permanently. It's things I don't like I would have considered, or not all of them anyway. Thank you." And Drive About One World, 872. "Giving the full-time lifestyle boils down to just one thing, and that's having somewhere to park for the night after night. It's a bonus that somewhere is safe, secure, affordable, and legal. Many blow off the legal aspects, but it's real. Once you get sorted out, everything else is manageable." Well, I've managed to never park in a spot that's illegal. I've always been able to, if I wanted to, find a spot that is either inexpensive or free. It's not hard on the western part of the United States. Nash says, "Why would you deliberately jump out of a perfectly good airplane?" Not me. God bless her and give her the strength to do all she wants to do. That's a 140-year-old jumps out of an airplane. That's a pretty good story. Nancy Mandera says, "I think you made a wise choice with your Medicare needs. After all, you're going to get your hip replacement. Well worth it." Stacy Jones says, "I appreciate your honesty and help on all the things you do. I was lucky enough to meet you a couple of times while I was in Quartzsite. I'm back in Minnesota, missing the weather there and those beautiful sunsets. Hi to Dottie and George." Renee Slater says, "Great info for newbies to think about. My husband is on blood thinners, so he's always cold and likes it warm too. We don't need a ton of internet, TV and computer, so we bought a Travel Fi. We bought the Travel Fi on Marketplace for $30 and paid $120 a month for unlimited. I write down all info for 911 and places on a whiteboard I hang inside my bathroom cupboard." Well, good for you, Renee. Good for you. That's great. Jeff Engels, "As I sit here broke in my van, I wonder sometimes if it's all worth it." Well, Jeff, I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope things work out for you and your van gets not broke down anymore and you get on your way. If you need emergency help, you can contact Google Homes on Wheel Alliance, And in there, there's a form you can fill out if you need emergency help. They have funding for that. Wordless says, I'll take it all, good, bad, and the ugly. Good for you. Me too. Tom Frost says, I'm wondering how anyone trusts anyone out on the road. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Certainly nothing from what I've said. Then I don't think there's any distinction of who you can trust living in one place or living on the road in the kind of community that I find myself part of. I'm sorry, Tom, that you must have had a bad experience to say that. Steve Warner. All right, for now, for me, it's 10 a.m. here in New Hampshire. I'm doing the dishes in my almost affordable home here in New Hampshire. Very retired, 7 years old, snow and 5 degrees tonight, wood heat, and I'm not going to lie, your narrative here is just plain seductive. I've hooked into 3 other content providers for Quartzsite. My taxes are going up 1/3. All state expenses now, paid via property taxes, education through the roof, but I would never deny that. So yada, yada, yada. I guess an added super cool detail to your video is witnessing the sun going down as you're talking. So back to my kitchen dishes, and big thank you for sharing your experience there. All good. Thank you, New Hampshire. Well, and that's the last one. Steve, I lived in New Hampshire for in one way or another for kind of a long time. I went to prep school for high school, a boarding school at New Hampton School, which is New Hampton, New Hampshire, which is exit 23 off interstate off the Interstate 95. And in that same area, Meredith, New Hampshire, is where my parents, for many, many years, had a lake house on Lake Winnipesaukee, and I spent some formative summers there. And I worked in a local supermarket in the summers called E.M. Heath. They're gone now. It was a family-owned supermarket chain. They had 2 supermarkets, and I think, was it 2 or 3 hardware stores? I think 2 hardware stores and 2 supermarkets. Yeah, and I worked in the Meredith supermarket. And I really enjoyed that part of the country. But it does get cold. It sure does. And I'm glad you are thinking about this lifestyle, and I hope it works out for you. So that's pretty much it for today. There's Dottie, hasn't been outside yet. It's a little late for her, so I'll get up, upload this. While I'm doing that, I'll take Dottie out for her morning walk, and then get her a little breakfast. You want breakfast, Dottie? She's pretty tired. She barely opened her eyes when I said that. I'll thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'm grateful. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.